The next speaker is the head honcho of the Scottish Trade Union Congress. And, you know, I was thinking yesterday, I haven't been involved in this movement for 50 years and more. Over the years, I've heard activists decrying the STUC. We never see anybody, we never hear from the STUC, we never see them. Anyone that's been on picket lines over the last 6 months can certainly not say that, because on every picket line there's been STUC representation, and people that have been calling for a general strike, of the general strike that we always call for. It was summed up at a meeting recently by Roz's assistant Dave Moxham when he said, there is no general strike, we're just striking generally. And that, of course, is what's happening. So I'm delighted to invite an active General Secretary of the STUC, Roz Foyer, to address the rally.
Thank you very much, Derek, and thank you very much to the whole group for inviting me here today. I really am proud to be here to help open this centre, and I'm proud to stand with striking workers right across Scotland at this time. Our message to any group of workers who are fighting back is this: your fight is our fight, your struggle is our struggle, and this trade union movement in Scotland will support you every single step of the way in your struggle. Because we know that things have gone too far, we know there is a tax on our whole class, and we know that we need to start organising ordinary workers and working class people so that we're able to mount the fight back that needs to happen if we're going to build an economy that really works for working people. Because right now, our economy is broken. That's why we've got a cost of living crisis. It's not the war in Ukraine. It's not the pandemic, it's not even Brexit. It's caused by decades of the rich and powerful asset stripping our class of our rights, our dignity, and our fair share of the wealth that we create in this economy. Now that isn't going to change unless we come together and unless we start fighting back. Our governments have failed us, the bosses have failed us. The only people that are going to change things is us, and that is going to take blood, sweat and tears. It's not just about joining a union, it's about using the union machinery, it's about campaigning, it's about talking to your colleagues, it's about being brave and taking action and really fighting back. So I salute every single person that's willing to do that. It's not easy to take time off and to take strike action when you're not getting paid. It's not easy to put your family into that position. And that's why we have to support every single worker every step of the way as a movement, and the STUC will do all we can to do that. So we have a UK government that is utterly attacking us at the moment. They don't care about the fact that being an ordinary working person has become unsustainable. They don't care about the fact that everything has gone up. They don't care about the fact that the wealth gap is widening. All they care about is continuing to feed their political masters in the city. It was telling that in the recent budget, for all their talk about being more responsible and how we all have to pay, and the language of austerity coming back in, the only people that get a tax cut in that budget were the bankers. So they're still feeding the bosses in the city and making sure that they don't lose out in any way. We have subsidised and we have paid and bailed out the energy companies to the tune of billions of pounds already, and it looks like we're going to continue to do that. We've privatised all of our essential services over recent decades. That has to stop. We need to stand up, we need to say enough is enough. It's not just about taxing them, it's about nationalising them and making sure they stop sucking the profits out of our economy. So yes, let's renationalise our transport services. Our trains are already there, but they need proper investment. Our buses need to come back into proper community control, just like we've done with Lothian buses. That should be a standard for right across the whole of Scotland. We also need to make sure that we're bringing back our energy services into public control. We need to make sure that all of these different areas, and Post is part of that as well, I absolutely agree with that. We need to make sure all of these areas are seen as the essential public services that they should be, and that is what the STUC is campaigning for. So really, we're a government who's against our whole class. The only thing we can do with the Tories is campaign, scream and shout and get out in the streets to make sure that every single Tory is kicked out of power as soon as possible. And for the Scottish Government, our message is this: you must do better. If you claim to be a left of centre government, if you claim to be on our side, then show us that you're on our side. Use the powers you've got right now. Tax the rich. Tax wealth. The two richest families in Scotland have got more wealth than the poorest 20% of our population. That is wrong, and it has to change. This government already has the powers to make a difference, and we're calling on them to use those powers and use them now. If the First Minister's assumption that this is a humanitarian emergency is right, then let's see you do something about it. So we've produced a People's Plan for Action to tell the government what we want right now from them. It's calling on them to properly invest in our transport services and take them back into public control. It's calling on them to give free school meals to all our kids. It's calling on them to give us a benefit system that properly targets poverty in our communities. It's calling on them to use income tax, wealth tax, their council tax right now to redistribute wealth in our economy. It's calling on them to look at all of these different areas, set up municipal energy companies, make sure that our green retrofitting of our homes is done by publicly owned workers, not cowboys and grants for the rich. We want to see local authority-led development of our housing to make it fit for purpose so that we can have low energy bills and see municipal energy companies in our communities. All of these things are possible right now. And next week, we're going to be announcing taxation report from the STUC that shows how all of this can be paid for from within existing powers. We have the ability to put in a whole range of different taxation measures. Some now, some that we could use this winter and this budget coming up, and some that will take a few years to put in place, but let's get started on it. There are billions of pounds that we could distribute within our economy. But none of this is going to happen if we don't come together and call for it. So as I said earlier, our fight back has started. Our class is on the march. Our union members are fighting back in their workplaces. Our community people are fighting back in the communities. We've joined up with the Poverty Alliance, with anti-cuts campaigns, with a whole range of groups across Scotland, and we're going to be holding a demo outside the Scottish Parliament next Thursday at 11 o'clock to demand a budget that works for Scotland's workers. I have a job for you all. Tell everyone you know, tell your friends, tell your families, tell the people in your communities to get down to the Scottish Parliament, because when we make our demands with one voice, they can't dare to ignore us, and it's time for us to shout and scream for change. Thank you very much. Solidarity